Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Hallzie. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new that may be tuning in right now. If you was present with me last week during my live, something happened with my original theme music, so I'm still kind of leaning on that intro. I might make something totally different. I just did that one on the spot because my original theme music was on a different device, and now the device is no longer in my possession, so shame on me for not keeping a backup. Got a different one too that I did yesterday. I'm gonna run this one by you, see if you like that. I don't know, I'm gonna just keep on messing with it so I feel, that's right. The other, my intro and outro, kind of got used to it. I like that lots better than these two, but like I said, I didn't back them up. But anyway, welcome to the Narrative Podcast. This is a weekend, so it's a full episode. On Thursdays, during the weekdays, I just do random lives. It's usually on a Thursday, but it's randomly. It's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever I have a free day to broadcast. Anyway, welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new that may be listening. For the new people, I'm gonna just give you a brief rundown of my content. So first of all, let's start at the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named it the Narrative Podcast because I believe, in fact, I know that the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. And I wanted to design a platform where I was correcting that false narrative. As a matter of fact, my tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. So that's kind of what they do. They depict us in a negative light for the name of entertainment and finance. It's like $1 billion a year business to portray us original people in a certain light. They generate all these headlines. They have people in the entertainment industry going back and forth online, social media, arguing, gossip columns, and, they make billions of dollars airing our dirty laundry. They also make billions of dollars in, local media outlets, covering stories in our neighborhoods such as like drive-by deaths, gang violence, just basically anything negative within our culture and about our people. And it's like 24-hour coverage, minute-to-minute updates. So it's never like showing us in a positive light, never showing us unified, never showing family structure, never showing entrepreneurship, never showing education, family values, moral values, never showing us in a positive light. It's just 24/7 negativity, negativity, negativity. And like I said, they do that in the name of entertainment. They do that in the name of, business, making money off of us, and then also, they do that to, help the rich stay rich, basically by marketing our people as unsalvageable, unredeemable, and a drain on the resources and not a contribution to humanity. So yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Basically, the ultimate takeaway I want people to get from my podcast and my content is the importance of sharing positive news about our people and our culture on your, social media platforms. How important that is to always post some positive content about us. Because if you don't, they already have negative frames of reference. That's all they're given is negative frames of reference about our people and our culture. So just imagine people outside of our culture. If you're always on, social media or whatever platform you're on, like posting gang culture, posting, violence culture, weapon culture, like guns, always posting guns, drug culture, pimp culture, whore culture, thought culture. This is like what they perceive you as, your ideals and your beliefs and your values. That's these days, whatever you post online is a representation of you. That's, what you believe in, what you, your value system and your belief system. And so if we're always like embracing the stereotypes and embracing the stigmas and posting them online, that's like all people outside of our culture have to go on about us. So it's not about caring what they think about us. It's just like giving an accurate depiction of us. Like that's why I call my listening audience my narrators. We walk around with these handheld devices all day, and we're all content creators to some capacity. We have the power to change the narrative based on the content that we post online. So that's the ultimate takeaway I want people to get, from listening to my podcast. Now, my podcast, another goal is I try to make it time efficient. I'm gonna try not to exceed each broadcast. I'm gonna try not to exceed 1 hour for each broadcast. And my reason behind that, I want my content to flow. I want it to have a nice cohesive feel to it. I don't want to oversaturate it. I don't want to shoot above people's heads. I want to just put the knowledge out there and make it digestible and make it relatable and make it applicable. So you don't have to like clear your entire schedule to listen to one of my broadcasts to catch up. And you can just put it out there, share it. But definitely download it. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. This helps me expand the podcast because this is a monetized platform. So I will be, the monies I receive from that, I just be adding on to giving you a better experience. I'll be able to eventually start booking guests, give you a better quality sound, more crisp, more clear, have a better location and all that good jazz. So just keep on downloading all the episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Keep sharing it, liking it, all that. Secondly, to save, in the effort to hit my time goal, it's all broken up into sections. Each section has a speaking point. So each section, I try to my best to time each section, but they definitely have speaking points in each section. And like I said, the reason why I do that is to, help me save time and to keep me from like droning on and talking in circles. When I first started, I didn't have a starting point or a stopping point. I would just hit, record and just start talking and talking and talking. Um, so yeah, I've definitely streamlined my podcast and made it more uh, efficient. Also, on my podcast, I refer to our people as original as opposed to black, and my reasoning behind that, you know, and we were on this planet about 5,000 years before everybody, all other civilizations. And in that time, we originated spoken and written language. Um, and when we came up with the word black, it meant something positive. But as time progressed, time went on, we had people outside of our culture, rising up, you know, establishing themselves. But ultimately, they pretty much colonized that word into meaning something negative. So if you look in any like dictionary, English dictionary, like Oxford Mediterranean, the word black is also often associated with something negative. I also believe in the power of words and how they've, you know, just basically changed the narrative surrounding the word black. How they have it is just basically like black symbolizes all things negative. It's associated most commonly with death and disease and suffering. Uh, so, us as a people, we're black. And then another slick thing they do in the dictionary is that's the only color in the dictionary, also linked with origin and nationality. Because when you go to the dictionary, or you can just pull, your phone out, open the browser, type in the word black, and it'll start off with, you know, origin, something it is along the lines of very darkest color, um, a member of a human group having dark color skin, especially one of the sub-Saharan African ancestry. Uh, Something along those lines, it'd be like, but then also after that, it'll start going into all the negative stuff. Um, it'll start saying, you know, say things like dirty, dark, dusky, sooty, inky, um, depressed, tragic, disastrous, calamitous, catastrophic, cataclysmic, ruinous, devastating, fatal, wretched, grievous, and then just so on and so forth. It's like a slow build up, conditioning your mind into accepting black as negative, something negative. And then you do the reverse and look at the word white. Everything is pure, everything is holy, everything is pristine. Um, so it's all programming and conditioning. Like originally the word meant something positive, but over time they changed it to mean something negative, and our brains, latch on and gravitate that, you know, the negative meanings, and we act out that negative meaning. So this is why on my platform I refer to our people as original, because it's more actual, factual representation of us. We were here on this earth about 5,000 years before everybody on this planet. And then not only that, we originated pretty much every modern day convenience you can think of. We originated written and spoken language. We were the original architects. We were the original teachers. We were the original philosophers. We were the original, journeymen. We were the original alchemists. We were the original medical doctors. We originated medicine. Uh, we originated pretty much everything in this modern world. So, that better describes us as a people as opposed to the word black. And then not only that, it helps unify us as a people because there are so many different types of us hailing for so many different parts of the world. Because, contrary to all unpopular belief, while slavery really was real and it was a real thing that happened and it took place in a time span over 100 years, fact of the matter is not all of us got everywhere on the planet via slavery, via the transatlantic slave trade, via chattel slavery, via the diaspora. We didn't. We were the original man and woman of this planet. We was just everywhere, all over the planet. We just inhabited pretty much every corner of the globe you can think of. Especially here in the Americas. So when they talking about, the raping and pillaging of, the Native American, that's us. That's what they're talking about, the majority of us. About like 60 or 70% of us was already here. So while some people did come over on slave boats in Africa, not all of us did, but went off on a little side tangent there, but back to the word original, it helps unify us, because there's many different types of us. You got people from the islands, people from Canada, people from the UK, people from down under, in Australia, people in the Emirates, everywhere. Different types, like groups and subgroups. You got like ADOS, you got FBA, you got, just, you got Haitian, you got Jamaican. We just like so diversified and all over the place. But when you say original, that's the glue, that's the tie that binds us and brings us together because we can all trace our lineage back to Africa. We all have carbon, the highest percentage carbon on the planet, aka melanin. And that's what, binds us as a people by saying original, referring to ourselves as original as opposed to black. So that's why I try my best to refer to our people as original as opposed to black on my platform. But anyway, now that I got that out the way, we're going to get things started with my very first section of the Narrative Podcast. And this section is the promo section. What I'm doing here in this section is giving original people to own, operate their own business, the opportunity to receive free promotion by reaching out to me at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. And I'll promote your brand, business, service or product for 110% for free just for reaching out to me for a promotion. To get the free promotion, just hit me up, Hallzie Allen at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo, body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service. The more specific you are, the better the promotional drop will be. Tell me everything, like include if you're a brick and mortar location, the directions, how much does the building hold, how to get there, like directions, hours of operation. Do you rent the space out from time to time? If you rent the space out for special functions, all that, just be specific as possible. And people, will flock to you. Like I got a following, so people listen to my show. Your business should grow. And it's with my expectation that original people that reach out to me for the free promotion are ones that give back to the community, hire their own, donate their goods, products, and services to the community that they live in, uh, do some type of outreach, community outreach and activism. Uh, because while we are due reparations here in the States, until we get it, it's our absolute duty to support each other by patronizing our own businesses, promoting our own businesses, and sharing our own businesses, like sharing the knowledge. So we just can't just keep the profit all to yourself and not. Or if you're on the business owner side of it, just make your profit and then not do anything for the community. That's not how we're going to grow. That's not how we're going to build and have things for future generations. It's a team effort. That's what I'm saying. So to get the free promotion, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And I will gladly promote your business, product, or service on my platform 110% for free. And again, the reason why I'm doing it is to help circulate the original people dollar in the original people community. All right, so now on to my second section. My second section is the contest section. In the contest section, I'm promoting a contest exclusively for this platform, the Narrative Podcast. And what I'm doing is giving people that participate in it, choose to participate in it, the opportunity to win a bulk supply of their favorite snack simply by participating in the contest topic. And the contest topic is share your most recent shopping while black experience. And for doing that, I will send you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. So to enter the contest is called the Chew On This contest. It's the exact same email address that I just gave for the free promotion. The only difference is I'm separating the two by the subject bar. So to enter the contest, you will hit me up, Hallzie Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host, and in the subject bar type Chew On This / shopping while black, or if you don't want to type out the entire word shopping while black, you can type SWB in all caps. In the body of the email, include your most recent shopping while black experience, of course. Then your mailing address, so I know where to send a bulk supply of your favorite snack. Then also, tell me what type of snack you want, and I'll send it to you. And again, the reason why I'm doing this section is just, incentive and also to engage my audience, listener participation, give the listeners something to do actively to participate in the content until I'm able to, get a hotline situation going where I can invite people to call in and chop it up with me. So I'm working on that. This podcast is a work in progress. It's getting bigger. My audience is getting bigger. People is actually just, tuning in, waiting on my broadcast, waiting on the next one. So I got momentum, I got traction, got all kinds of projects up and running. And, so what I'm attempting to do right now, I'm trying to attempt to get some sponsorship so I can give you guys more illustrious, better, what was the word? Extravagant. Yeah, that was the word I was searching for. More extravagant gifts, but right now it's just a shopping while black contest. And to enter that, you hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Type shopping while black in the subject bar. Chew On This in the subject bar / shopping while black or SWB in all caps. Include your mailing address, in the subject bar, in the body of the email, your mailing address, what type of snack you want, and of course your most recent shopping while black experience. All right, now that we got that out the way, now we're on to the actual like meat of my podcast or core of it. We're starting things off with the highlight section. And in the highlight section, what I do is I highlight businesses owned and operated by original people to provide, because this is what I do here on the Narrative Podcast, I provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So in our highlight section, I'm providing positive frames of reference about entrepreneurship from our people. Um, you know, it's basically like regular people came from the mud, started their own business. I walk you through their journey, from the time they opened, like how they got started, provided if I can find that type of information, sometimes I cannot. Um, all throughout, the beginning phases of starting their own business, and the purpose of me doing that again because we don't have the positive frames of reference for that. They don't give it to us. What they give us is like, dysfunction and buffoonery on television. They give us destruction. They give us distractions. They don't give us anything, digestible and things we can actually use to lift ourselves out of our situation. They just give us things to keep us docile and keep us fighting amongst each other, and things that to talk about that doesn't even, have any type of relevance to our needs or, situation that we're going through, or nothing that is remotely has anything to do with our culture. They just give us like visual misrepresentations of ourselves to look at, to model ourselves after. So what I do in this section, I give us positive frames of reference, letting you know it's just like people like you and I that were working 9-to-5 jobs, caught up in the rat race. They didn't have sufficient means to start their own business. They didn't have sufficient educational backgrounds to start their own business. But they just had desire and passion. They wanted to do something different with their own lives. They stepped out on faith, and just by trial and error, they was able to find a way to make it work. And that's what I do here in this section, is provide the positive frames of reference. Also, all the businesses I highlight in the highlight section, they also do some type of community outreach. They either pay into a non-profit organization, or they have their own non-profit organization, or some type of outreach project that they do for the community, in addition to hiring their own. And then the last qualifying factor for the businesses featured in the highlight section is they align up with my theme. And this month's theme, and probably all through the end of May, will be the season of spring. So having said that, that was my inspiration with the next few businesses that I'll be highlighting today. I usually give like 2 to 4, references. Today I just have 2, but there are literally thousands upon thousands out there for the business that I'll be highlighting today. But keeping in, stride with my theme. Initially, I started to try to do, because it's Easter Sunday tomorrow, for those that celebrate that holiday. I was going to do, original people businesses that specialize, in Easter, like the Easter supplies, whether it be stationery or candy or whatever. I was initially where I was going to go with it, but I said, nah, let's do something a little bit more practical. So with the season of spring, people do, a lot of spring cleaning. They clean their homes and stuff, and they rearrange stuff, uh, and they transform their insides around the springtime. I already did a segment about spring cleaning a few episodes ago. So, what else do you do in your home around the springtime? You buy brand new things to make your house look different. So it's like in the spring, the mentality is in with the old, out with the new. I mean, out with the old, in with the new. I had that saying wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, how do you make your home or living space look new? You get new furniture. So the next few businesses I'll be highlighting today on the highlight section is original people owned and operated businesses that specialize in furniture. So at first, my first original people owned business that I'll be highlighting in the highlight section is the Black Home. Black Home was established in 2012 by one Miss Neffy Walker. The email address is theblackhome.com. Physical address 7 William Street, Newark, New Jersey, SIP 07102. It's open from Tuesdays through Sundays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So Neffy was born in Harlem, born and raised in Harlem, New York. She was around greatness her whole life. She lived in a brownstone on like one side, on the left or right side. She was of her building was, she lived in the same building as Dapper Dan and the rapper Dougie Fresh. She started off her professional career, just working a regular 9 to 5. She opened basketball clinics and held special events for NBA hopefuls. She became interested in interior design while moving from Harlem to New York's East Village, the East Village in New York, and she was just basically renovating her home and liked how that made her feel, and she wanted to make that a full-time job. So, longer story short, the Black Home was born, and she's been doing it since 2012. Being a leader in that industry, providing opportunities, and leading the charge not only for our people but for women as well, original women. Now her bio says she is Afro-Latino, but here on the original podcast, we don't do that Afro stuff. We original people. So just because you speak Spanish doesn't absolve you from being black or original, aka black. So mommy, But anyway, definitely support Miss Neffy Walker in the Black Home brand of furniture. Give a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Neffy Walker and the Black Home furniture business. It just says Black Home, but I feel like it should be longer. But anyway, Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Neffy and the Black Home. All right. Second business today, second and final business that I will be highlighting today on the highlight section comes to you. It's called Paul Renee Furniture, coming to you from a brother named Paul. Let me see. Sometimes I forget to put stuff in the notes. It seems like it should be more complex than that. Yes, I forgot to put a whole lot of stuff. So let's see. Let's go. Paul Renee story. Come on. No, that's not what I wanted. Get the wrong section. I'm just trying to double check to make sure what the brother's name is. Keeps on going to the. No, that's not what I want. Okay. I guess the name is just Paul Renee. All right, but anyway, so Paul Renee at paulrenefurniture.com. And I think got a physical address as well. Let me see. Is it the same one? Let me see. I'm trying to, on this other site now, see if that's the same one. Yeah, it is. Okay. So it does have a physical address too. It's 555 North 5th Street, Phoenix, Arizona, 85003. And the hours 10 a.m. On Monday. It doesn't say when it closes. Do-do-do-do. So anyway, this brother has a very interesting story. He grew up on the mean streets of Detroit, Michigan. That's like meanest of the mean streets right there. That is a rough environment. He started his own business under the inspiration of something his father said to him when he was coming up as a young lad. He said he told him he didn't want him to take a job when he grows up. He said he wanted him to create a job when he grows up. And then also in his youth, he attended a lecture at a university, and the focal point of the lecture was for young black men that it's their obligation or responsibility to unite their communities. So it kind of took that inspiration and ran with it. his very first job though, but he was living in the Motor City, so of course his first job was designing cars for Ford Motors. And then later he left Detroit, moved to California. He got a job in California designing closets and cabinets. Before he got that job, he was working at a Walmart. He worked his, I think, worked his way up to like corporate status. But then he got a job designing, closets, and that was more fulfilling to him, working with his hands and good, earnest work. And so, oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention he's ex-military, so he was in the armed forces as well. It didn't say what branch, but when you go to his website, you will see him in a picture in his service uniform. Their company philosophy on their website is rooted in spiritual teachings and just trying to read their business module. Living in harmony with oneself and the natural laws governing our earthly home is virtual to its acquirements. When we invite this blueprint into our lifestyle, we also embrace the harmony for ourselves, including our surroundings, taking our way of life to a higher realm. And then something else, and then on their mission statement on their website. Let's see what they got going on for that. Sorry for these long pauses. So working for him, he pays all his employees $15 an hour is their minimum wage. And he's an advocate for that to get the, $15 an hour nationwide. But it kind of seems like it's doing that anyway, because like most jobs pretty much is $15 an hour now, starting wage, because like even QSRs are starting to start their employees off at like 13 and 14 now. But he also does consultations for furniture. He co-ops and networks with other laborers, trying to create a infrastructure net for people looking for employment. So he's trying to help his people find jobs. And I'm just kind of just scrolling, trying to. He also helps people transition into the job market. Seems like he did some work for ex-parolees, trying to help with their, soft skills, help them apply for jobs. So he does a lot of good work for the community. He works with our children and, definitely gives back to that capacity. So go out and support Paul Renee Furniture. So we're going to give a Warm Narrative podcast round of applause for Paul Renee. and Paul Rene Furniture. Alrighty. And now after the highlight section, we're going to transition over to the spotlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm spotlighting people within our culture. They use their platforms to speak on our cause unconditionally and, carry and conduct themselves, with the air of dignity and make us look good visually. So the people that I spotlight are usually people in the entertainment industry. So just a disclaimer, just because I spotlight entertainers doesn't mean, if regular people like that live in your neighborhood don't deserve to be spotlighted. I'm just spotlight those, entertainers, public figures, people with a public spotlight, because, it's that same, industry that gets exploited a lot. So that's why I just choose to spotlight entertainers because, when it comes to our community, they're always just exploiting our entertainers, always something bad, something negative. You're always seeing them go to jail or involved in some type of sexual scandal or, at each other's throat online, going back and forth online. And, that's kind of why I created the spotlight section. I wanted to create the healthy habit of brothers and sisters, using their public platforms to say something positive, about their brother and sister online instead of something negative. And it seems to have worked because before I added a spotlight to my section to my podcast, nobody online, on YouTube, anywhere was spotlighting anyone. So regardless of, how unfamiliar you are with my platform, the work speaks for itself because now every time you pull out your device or, you look at something on television or, just scrolling through trying to find something to listen to, like everybody got a spotlight section. Today, with our special guest, we will be spotlighting so-and-so, and so we'll be spotlighting this person, spotlighting that person. Like spotlighting is a whole thing right now, and nobody was spotlighting until I added a spotlight section to my podcast. So yeah, give it up for me on the Narrative Podcast.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Hallzie Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
You better know it. But anyway, basically what I'm doing is giving entertainers the roses while they're here, playing up their positive attributes and letting them know, how much I admire their work and how they make us look as a people, and just, noting their contributions and just letting them know we got love for them and liking everything they're doing for the culture. So like I said, I spotlight mostly entertainers, people from all genres, actors, actresses, recording artists, comedians. I've spotlighted religious figures as well, spotlighted public figures. It's just people like this just kind of big on the internet. But as long as they're using their public platform in a positive way, speaking truthfully and unapologetically on our, issues and or just the way they're carrying, conducting themselves in the eye of the public, just like never, nothing messy when it comes to them or their brand. So I spotlight them in that capacity. But today it's my great privilege to spotlight a 80s cultural icon. Today I will be spotlighting one Mr. Kadeem Hardison. So there wasn't a lot in the wiki. Like his wiki is like, super basic. It's not really detailed. It doesn't tell where he went to school, if he attended an acting college or whatever, or acting school for the performing arts. So it didn't really say how he got interested in acting, but it did some digging, found his first role, got his first role at the age of 14, Color of Friendship. And then as you know, time progressed. His breakout role was, on a different world in his portrayal of Dwayne Wade. But before that, he kind of had a role on the Cosby Show. I forget, his character's name, but he played, what's the character's name? Tempest Bledsoe's character of Vanessa played her boyfriend. He was picking her up, in an episode of the Cosby Show, and then pretty much a whole lot of characters from the Cosby Show got transitioned into a different world, which was a Cosby Show spinoff. Basically, it was supposed to initially be about, the second oldest leaving the nest, Lisa Bonet, her experiences, and it was supposed to be her journey through college at their alma mater, their fictional alma mater, gee whiz, Hillman College. But he basically was an 80s icon. He made being a nerd chic. He had a developmental character, like he just transitioned in front of his character, transitioned in front of our eyes. He went from the like a Steve Urkel. He was like Steve Urkel before Urkel. So he's like that annoying guy that would show up and just hang out on the girls' dormitory all day long, trying to bag a date. Him and Daryl Bell, on the show, he was called Ron Johnson. That was his cohort on the show. Amazingly brilliant. Pretty much all throughout his acting career, he made a career out of being the side guy, like the number two guy. Like you got the main character, and you had like the secondary character, and he just made a career out of being the secondary character. Almost every movie that he's ever played in, he's kind of been the secondary character, but he played it so well, it was just like he was like the main character, because his secondary roles were so just played so well. You watch the movie to kind of watch his scene. And a good example of that would be, White Men Can't Jump. Wesley was the main character, but he had some really good parts in White Men Can't Jump. But before that was School Days, and a whole lot of the cast of A Different World came from School Days, from Spike Lee's School Days. A whole lot of the cast from A Different World came there too. He did a whole lot of writing and producing on A Different World. One of the most iconic scenes of A Different World was the Martin Luther King episode. And then I'm gonna go off on a side tangent right quick and then get right back to it. But April 4th was the anniversary of the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And while we do have a federally recognized holiday, we also should never ever, forget that day as well, because that's kind of what spawned the federally recognized holiday. But that day we should never ever, sweep under the rug as well, because that changed the fabric of this nation. That was one of our most influential, radical, effective leaders of our time. He was teaching his people about economics, how to use group economics and empowering them like that. I'm sure he had the non-violent approach, but it takes a big man to admit when you was wrong. So before his passing, he kind of admitted that approach wasn't really working. And, he's pretty much in general was saying, switch up the tactic, like defending yourself is not insane. It's not insane to like fight back. And, a whole lot of white supremacists, they'll try to use that soft con on, well, you can demonstrate, but, that's not what, Reverend Martin Luther King died for. He was died for us all to be, together and whatever. Like, he was just like trying to make a better way for his people. He basically wanted us to be left alone and have a fair shot at the so-called American dream. But anyway, now back to Kadeem. Yeah, he had on A Different World during the stint. That was one of the most iconic roles ever, or the most iconic episodes on that show. On that show, he and like I said, his cohort on the show, Daryl Bill, they was at a college game. Their college was Hillman, and it was versus another college. It was predominantly white, and so, placed a bet. They bet on the game. Come out the stadium. The N word is on, his friend's car, and then, trouble ensues. And then the two characters get locked up. And then, throughout the rest of the episode, they're just like going back and forth about the dynamic of, our people versus their people, who had it the worst. And, a whole lot of things got touched on in that episode. And it went down in TV infamy, and he just never really stopped as a entertainer, as a producer, as a writer in Hollywood, always bringing that message. Even in animated cartoons, like he's done a whole lot of animated cartoons. Pretty much been a good, role model for our children. The Static Shock animated cartoon, he voiced an anti-hero, Ebon, and then he also, voiced a hero, Anansi. But I don't know if it's the same Anansi from the late 70s, because that was a cartoon too. But I don't know. DC just be doing what DC be doing. Like, I don't know. But anyway, Kadeem very talented. He's a great storyteller. If you ever get a chance to watch one of his interviews, He'll have you on the edge of his seat. He's led a pretty exciting life. He's in his early 50s and he ain't done living yet. So very interesting brother who's led a very interesting life. He's contributed a lot to the cause via his art form, acting, getting the correct representation of our people via the big screen and the small screen in movies and on television. And he has sparked a lot of firsts culturally. So if you love Jordans, you can kind of thank Kadeem Hardison because, when Jordans first came out, he kind of, his character, he always had a fresh pair of J's on and Michael Jordan apparel. So he's the one that kind of launched that sneaker craze. Jordans wouldn't even be the brand it is today had it not been for Kadeem Hardison wearing the Michael Jordan brand on a different world. And then he also created the flip up glasses in the 80s. That was his character's trademark look. And that was a signature look in the 80s and the early 90s. I believe it started in the mid 80s and lasted to 91, 92. But very talented brother, very articulate. He speaks on our causes. He creates inclusion, accurate, dynamic representation of our people on film and in television. So give it up for Kadeem Hardison. All right, on to the next section of the Narrative Podcast. This is the health and wellness section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm promoting total body health and wellness. And the reason why I feel the need to do this is because our people, original people, we're at the target of so many things. A quick disclaimer, anybody from any walk of life in the, ethnic, background, nationality or whatever is free to listen to my podcast, to feel enlightened about our people, but ultimately all the content on this podcast is, directed and aimed toward my people, original people. So definitely in this section, all, health and wellness tips will be directed at my people. So Sunday is Easter and they say we are all children of God, we're all one. And that's true to a certain extent, but we differ in the ways of physiology. What's true for you is not true for me. There's things culturally that I can't have in my diet that you can have every single day and not affect you. And another thing, while my people is basically people of the sun, the sunlight, its ultraviolet rays is harmful to other types of people. They bruise and blister and get very ill when exposed to too much sunlight. While my people thrive and get stronger in the sunlight, makes us more healthier. So in that way, we are different. So all the views and ideas expressed in this section will be from that perspective. Like I said, anybody's free to listen to it, but all the content on this platform is directed towards my people. And the reason why I'm doing that, because like everything, and I mean everything, especially here in the United States, is aimed to, destroy my people. Like they're putting things in the air, they're putting things in the water, our food, daily products that we use every single day that impact and affect our unique physiological makeup in a negative way, especially our melanin. So basically the powers that be is trying to wipe us out by all means. So in this section, what I'm doing is giving us tips to, fortify our immune systems and live a healthy, active, fit lifestyle. So the types of things you'll hear in this section is, on the physical side of it, I probably give you the health benefits of a fruit, a vegetable, a herb, plant, or roots. Or a physical exercise you can do to stay healthy, active, and fit. Also mental things you can do to stay in peak mental wellness, because in the mind, everything starts in the mind. And like I said, it's the media's job to constantly overtax our minds and paint a negative physical representation of our people. So they're trying to affect, our self-image, how we view ourselves, because they're always putting up the image of, somebody that's criminally active, somebody that's amoral, somebody that's violent, that doesn't have respect for themselves or the community. They push that type of behavior to the forefront, and they put that image out there like that's, who we are as a people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every second of the day. We're always constantly seeing that. And then what we do subconsciously on the mental front is we accept that image. It's ingrained into us. We accept it and we normalize it. We give cadence to it. We act that image out on a subconscious level, and that deteriorates our physical health as well. Because like I said, everything starts in the mind. That's why they call most illnesses dis-ease. You become physically ill when your mind is at dis-ease. So we got to stay healthy, active, and fit out here. In this section, I'm teaching total body wellness, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So on the mental side of it, mental clarity, mental focus, mindful breathing, meditation, praying, like on the spiritual side of it. And every once in a while, I might throw in something metaphysical as well in this section. But today, we're going to be focusing on the food side, the diet side. Going to be giving you the health benefits of the strawberry. So first of all, strawberries are a highly sustainable source of food. They're commonly found out in the wild. Like you can grow a strawberry indoors. It's not hard and it grows very quickly. Strawberries they're not no danger of ever depleting. So good source of vitamin C. It helps fight some new studies in 2001. It's shown that it helps fight dementia, memory loss, and other, mental diseases associated with aging. It can also help lower cholesterol. It's a good natural probiotic, so it's good for gut health. It'll keep you regular. And this also has anti-inflammatory because if you follow Dr. Sebi, his teachings, inflammation is, the enemy. That's the root cause of a whole lot of diseases, inflammation within the body. So, you always want to consume or ingest anything with anti-inflammatory properties. And what else is it? Well, that's all I wrote down. You can do your own Googles, but very versatile fruit. It tastes pleasant all by itself. So you really don't ever need to cook with it. When you cook anything, fruit or vegetables, you're actually cooking out all the vital vitamins, minerals, and nutrients the longer you cook them. So that's definitely something you can eat just straight raw. That's a good thing to eat raw. It's very soft, tasty. Now it does have really small seeds, just little, strawberry seeds like they get in your teeth. But other than that, it's delicious. I don't know. I've never heard somebody say they don't like the taste of strawberries. I've never heard that in my whole life. Somebody doesn't like strawberries. Strawberries is also an aphrodisiac. Helps you get in the mood. Wink, wink. It's said. I don't know if it actually is. But that was the health benefits of the strawberry. Do yourself a favor, get some strawberry in your life, incorporate it in your diet. Try to eat at least 2 servings a day or at least 1 serving a week. And that'll do it for the health and wellness section. Now on to my speaking point of the day. And my speaking point of the day, it's usually like current news, breaking all over the world, just anything going on anywhere in the world, but especially in regards to our people, because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us you must tell your own story or you'll have your story told for you. And that's precisely what's been going on in our community is our story has been told and corrupted by the powers that be since the beginning of time. And what I'm doing here in the the speaking point, sometimes I call it, speaking point or breaking news of the day on this section, but I'm leaning towards speaking point. It's basically just to tell, current events from our perspectives and just unpack things from our perspectives because, the media have us looking and sounding all types of crazy and just misrepresent us, misquote us, just all for news, all for sensationalism, just out here having us looking and sounding like whole buffoons. So what I do is just, when important things that come across my radar, I'll speak about it and, commentate from our perspective, thus putting it in total perspective. Because our perspectives is the only ones that really matter because, they base everything about our feelings and beliefs anyway. So what's going on around the world? Well, I guess I address the biggest elephant in the room right now, the economy. Um, so like every single financial guru on the internet, everybody that knows anything about finance, every finance channel ever, they're saying the American dollar is about to become extinct. We're leaning towards, all other nations is leaning towards universal currency or just using their own country's currency and trying to phase out the American dollar out of their economy. And so what does that mean for us? Well, we've been knowing for years that the US dollar isn't worth anything anyway. So it's never been, worth more than euros. It's never been worth more than rupees. It's definitely never been worth more than yen. So it's just like the value of the dollar is on the decline. People are saying the stock markets are going to crash. Well, the stock market crashes anyway, so no big deal. My commentary is just basically like, don't believe the hype. Do your own due diligence. At this point in this age we live in with all this technology, just do the research, do the knowledge yourself, do some cold calling, talk to, actual financial planners, try to get you some second streams of income, invest in things that have stood the test of time, such as gold, such as silver, such as diamonds, that's never going to not be worth some money. And don't panic, because, that's what the internet is kind of for these days. It spreads panic. But my 2 cents in on this universal currency thing is whatever happens, if they phase out the dollar, if nobody survives from that, it's going to be our people. We've survived everything. We've survived slavery. We've survived famine. We've survived pestilence. We've survived disease. We can survive a universal currency switch off. We're not going to be out here losing our minds over this, because we've been told no for so many years. If they do decide to switch up the currency, it's not going to affect us in the least. We'll adapt. We adapt to everything else. We are the most adaptable people on the planet. We'll survive. If nobody else survives in America because of it, we will. Because when they had this little quarantine, we wasn't on the news losing our cool. This is dominant society, like white people out here with the M16s talking about they don't want to put on their masks because the government told them to do it. I'm an American citizen. I can do what I want. No, you can't. Not if they say you can't. They was losing their cool. They was like losing their minds because they was told no, that you had to check in for curfew. Remember that when we had to go on curfew? You didn't see our people out here losing their minds because they had to go inside for curfew. That was them. They're going to lose their minds when the universal switch happens, if it happens. It might not even happen. But, that's my 2 cents in on it. We're going to survive. We're going to maintain our focus. We're going to maintain our cool. And we're going to ride it out. If nobody else rides it out, we're going to ride it out. We're going to roll out everything else they've ever thrown at us. We're going to be all right. What's that lock song? We gonna make it. We're gonna make it. If nobody else makes it, we're gonna make it. But definitely check into that. Check in into like getting secondary streams of income. Do your research, do your due diligence on it. The best time of day, the best time to prepare for a storm is when the sun is shining. Like it's not bad right now. It's not bad right now, but it will get bad. But when it gets bad, you know, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna survive. We're gonna figure out a way over it, how to, maneuver and live with it. Live with it, like, I just highly doubt. I can't see us crumbling and folding from them, switching to a universal form of currency. I can't see us losing our mind over a universal currency. Some positives, if they do it, switch over to universal currency is, that it alleviate classism. There would be no more upper class, lower class. Everybody got the exact same amount of money. Everybody can buy something. There probably wouldn't be any more poverty. There probably wouldn't be any more homelessness, probably, with a universal form of currency. So, there's negative and positive in all things. What may happen, what will happen, will happen. We don't know, but definitely do your research, prepare for it. It is, like right around the corner. It's right around the corner. So it is happening. The US dollar is like slowly like losing its value in the eye of other nations. Like here, we already knew it was worthless, but like abroad in different countries, they're like shying away from accepting the US dollar as a viable source of currency. All right, so in our news, original people news, Instagram model Black China has recently took to her Instagram and has made a conversion to Christianity. She got baptized online. She removed all of her plastic parts, all of her plastic endowments. She removed all the stuff out of her lips, all the stuff out of her behind, all the stuff out of her breasts, thighs, and wherever, wasn't natural and endowed at. She removed it. And she has made the full conversion to Christianity, and she is now a born again Christian. Her mother says she's faking for attention, or as the young people say, capping. My thoughts on it, what I don't do, I said I don't gossip on the Narrative Podcast. I don't slander and drag people through their name. If I name drop at all, it's really just to solidify my overall point that I'm trying to make. And the overall focus about my podcast series is our unity, things that they do to keep us divided as a people, and the divisive things that the media uses to keep us arguing amongst each other. But in this particular story, my only thing I would say, only negative thing I would say is like I can see her mother's point about sensationalism. People do, they play the game, a trick on us, on our people. They sensationalize negativity. They believe you always have to be negative to like garner money, to garner success and attention for the likes and the views. Does this seem like she's trying to get attention in some aspects? Yes, it does. But from my personal opinion, I don't believe that this is the case with her. I believe she's getting older. And with, when you get older, you get more mature, you examine your life, you want to make changes in it. She's tired of the nightlife, the video vixen life. She just wants to be a regular, schmegular woman. And that's all right. That's definitely all right. As long as you are a better version of yourself than you were yesterday, what's wrong with that? Because that ain't it. That ain't for our women, that image that you have to alter yourself physically to be beautiful when you're beautiful naturally. Like all other women all over the world, all other nationalities, they modeling their selves after you. That's what the lips was for. The Botox lips. You naturally have thick, full lips. As an original woman, as a black woman, your lips are naturally full and voluptuous. Your hips is naturally wide. Your thighs is naturally wide. Like all them endowments that y'all be trying to get, like y'all already that naturally. Like you other women is like doing the plastic surgery to look like y'all. So I never understood that anyway. Well, I did understand it where the self-hatred thing came from over years of, dominant society telling you all, you guys are not beautiful, that your looks are not classic. But yeah, she's a physically attractive young lady. She never needed the endowments and all that to begin with. She had a tumultuous start. She was a stripper. She was married to engaged to Rob Kardashian. But all things are made new. So I believe her sincerity about her conversion. I don't think she's putting on airs for the camera. I could be wrong. I'm not above saying I'm wrong when I'm wrong, but that's my impression that I got. I don't believe she was sensationalizing. God help her if she is sensationalizing, because she got to deal with God if she's lying about that. If she's trying to capitalize off of that. But in the same breath, there's a lot of, Christian people that do capitalize off it. They make millions, or it's just devilish as any worldly person in creation, more so. How many pastors and people that got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. So I don't believe I would be passing judgment. First of all, nobody needs to be passing judgment on nobody. That's first and foremost. But I believe her conversion is sincere. I believe she wants sincere change in her life. And, if she has to do it religiously, if she's going through the religion of Christianity to get her change that she needs in her life, to change some things around, so be it. I'm in support of it. That'll conclude it for my speaking point of the day. And now on to my final section of the Narrative Podcast, and I'm going to bring this bad boy to a close. My final thought or final word of the day, it's called, sometimes I call it a final thought, final phrase. I flip back and forth between the two, but it's consistency. Final word of the day is consistent. Whatever you're doing, be consistent at it. If you want success, you must be consistent at it. You got to create a healthy habit to do things habitually. You got good habits and you got bad habits. Now the bad habits are more on a subconscious level. We kind of subconsciously have absorbed the negativity, and we do it and we don't even realize we're doing it, but we do it every single day. You got little small ones and big ones. Habits or consistency. So on the positive end of it, like the positive consistency is hard, it's difficult, but if you do it every single day, you will yield results. So like on your workout goals, you exercise every single day, you're going to get in better shape. You're going to lose weight, you're going to gain muscle tone. People are going to physically see that you're doing something. They might not tell you to your face, but they're gonna look at you and be like, they're doing something different, some stair climbers, some something. Every time they see you, your physique is improving. Mental things, reading books, learning things, building your intellect. You're consistent with that. Your dialogue, your speech pattern will change. Your vocabulary, your over and understanding will change. You'll start running in different circles. Things will gravitate to you and come to you when you're consistent. Consistency always pays off. If you consistently do something, it always pays off, unless you're like on the negative side of it. If you're always consistently doing something negative, you're going to yield a negative result. But if you're consistently, doing something positive, consistently building yourself in some facet or another, you will see a change. You will elevate and rise if you're consistent. So I've been consistently podcasting. I haven't missed one day a week. My audience is growing. More people are listening to me in that capacity. Consistency always pays off. There was a YouTuber by the name of JB Hart, aka Spoken Reasons, and his tagline was faith, hard work, and consistency. And eventually his consistency paid off. He went from YouTube to starring in his first Hollywood movie. Somebody from Hollywood reached out to him because they saw him doing his YouTube skits. But consistency always pays off. Whatever you're doing in life, be consistent with it, and it'll pay off for you in some area, in some form, in some facet. Stay consistent. Even on the days you don't feel like it, do it anyway. And you will reap the benefits. Well, that's it, and that's all. This concludes another episode of the Narrative Podcast. Join me next weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Until then, you can tune in every single day because I go live one time during the weekday. So to avoid missing me when I'm live during the weekday, just tune in to me wherever you get your podcast from. And I will drop a live one next week. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. I'm working on all kinds of projects. But if I miss, this week, I'll get you next week. Speaking of projects, if you have not purchased my new book that I've written, book of poetry I've written, go get it right now. It's titled The Black Card. It's available on poetizer.com in their bookstore. So go to poetizer.com in their bookstore and order my book, The Black Card, written by me, Hallzie Allen. And then another way you can also support me is to support my poetry blog. It's titled Hallzie's Poetry Corner. And the email address is www.mrhalziesblogs.com. A tagline on that blog is poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read it, you'll find out why, and how you support it is by sharing a poem from Hallzie's Poetry Corner to all your platforms, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever your platform is. Share a poem from Hallzie's Poetry Corner to your favorite platforms. And, I garner something from that, and I funnel that into growing my platform on here. But download this episode of the Narrative Podcast and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, and I'll see you again this weekend for sure. Till then, peace, family. Sending you love, light, healing energy. Projecting success over you. Speaking life into you. And that's it. I'm out of here. Like last year, Hallzie Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. I'm going to keep on working on my intro though. But till then, this is what I got. Hallzie Allen, Narrative Podcast, signing off. And it's like that.
To the Narrative Podcast with Hallzie Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.